I spent quite a bit of time this month reflecting on where California is as a state with respect to education and the capacity of our professionals and our system to meet the challenges that we face. There is, first of all, some good news as Proposition 30 kind of weighs in and the economy improves. We are seeing that there is some recalibrating. The number of layoffs was 90% lower than it had been at this time last year, which was really good news. There's a surplus projected for next year. We can begin to think again about building capacity and not just kind of holding on by our fingernails, and I think that's hopeful. But we still have a growing number of children who experience poverty and homelessness. Which is in our public schools, most of the students we serve facing income challenges. Families are still struggling. We have expectations growing for professionals to address the Common Core state standards, and I think all of us are probably experiencing the growing momentum and excitement and concern about the implementation of the standards. We're going to need to teach more challenging content in ways that are more intensive and accessible for English learners, for students with learning differences, and other students with a wide range of needs. And as we learn more about the standards and as we think more about what they mean, the depth of those expectations becomes clearer. So that's on my mind, and I know it's on the minds of all of you. And as the Common Core standards are becoming real, and we see that Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium, which will be we expect to have as our assessment vehicle in the future, has piloted its assessments with more than 100,000 students, so that certainly makes it more real. The practice tests are available. People can go and see them. They will be available, I think, at the end of this week. They're coming very soon. I've seen them. I got a peek. Makes me realize that we are going to have to develop new pedagogical strategies. We're going to have to find ways to support students in acquiring skills that they may have missed along the way. And so it's a heavy lift. And I worry about and I think about how we should enable our teachers and our leaders in our schools to become more and more capable of meeting these challenges. We need to arm our educators and our schools to accomplish even more for our children. And it's not as though everybody isn't working very hard already, right? It's not as though we can just do the same thing harder. And in California, I think it's really important that raising standards not mean increasing failure rates for children. Some people will say, oh, we've raised our standards. You can tell that we've raised our standards because fewer people pass them. Well, that's not the goal here. The goal is to raise standards in a way that means increasing the capacity of people and systems to do the work well, to meet the needs that children have, and to raise the capacity of children, teachers, school leaders, and the whole system. We do this in California with more constraints and barriers than most other states. Not only the constraints of money that we've all become familiar with, but also antiquated rules that, among other things, expect teachers to do more and more, but we're the only state that puts a ceiling on the amount that we'll expect teachers to learn, the time they have for preparation. We have almost no serious investments in preparation and training in this state at this moment after what we've been through. And I think we have to recalibrate our expectations for the system. We have to be able to think about what's really going to be needed, not just what we've been doing, and base our decision making not just in the CTC but across the entire state government infrastructure in our schools on what we owe our teachers and our principals so that they can have the knowledge and skills that they want and need to have to meet the needs of the students that are going to be more and more expected. We have this month and in coming months new opportunities to engage these questions. We have new opportunities. One of them is the new set of standards and expectations for administrators that are on our agenda for this meeting. We'll examine those, how we can ensure that school leaders have access to the knowledge and the skills that they want and need to have, and also we will need to consider how can they receive high quality supports, which will be partly an issue for the CTC and partly an issue for others in our state government. A second matter is the preparation and support of interns to teach English learners and to teach all of their students. We have the opportunity in this meeting to clarify and strengthen their access to knowledge and skills and supports to be sure that they can serve students well and feel well supported as though they have been given the tools to do that. We have the good fortune to have had great advisors from the field and in our staff who have worked enormously hard and with great determination to bring us thoughtful proposals to move the profession forward in these areas, and in coming months we'll be looking at others. I'm really grateful for their efforts, and I need to call out our director, Mary Sandy, and Terry Clark, who has been working on this as well with many other staff people very, very creatively and intensively. And I'm pleased that we can take up this work here today and think about it in the context of where our state needs to be and where we want our children to be.